Kaplan University students and alumni. This is Erin Pulio with the Career Services Department. We are very excited for you to be joining us today for our Employer Spotlight session with Behavior Change Institute. We have Kelly Weingart with us today, the Talent Acquisition and Retention Specialist. And Kelly brings with us a video for you to watch before we get started this afternoon. So please feel free to sit back, relax, and watch this video before we get started. I apologize for the little lag. What we're going to do is start the video over so everyone can see it without it skipping in its entirety. Thanks for bearing with us. All right. So, as I mentioned, we do have Kelly Weingart, the Talent Acquisition and Retention Specialist from Behavior Change Institute, with us today. Kelly has been with Behavior Change Institute for just over a year. And having a passion for teaching and mentorship, the role that she's filled at Behavior Change Institute has been extraordinarily rewarding as she's continued to work with students to meet both their educational and career goals. Now, Behavior Change Institute offers a number of internship opportunities for students on an educational track in the field of applied behavior analysis. And Kelly has worked to develop relationships with various institutions of higher education nationwide to recruit and hire top talent, just like Kaplan University. Working with colleges and universities to develop practicum and field experience for their students and recruiting and hiring students for a career in ABA is Kelly's top priority. And previous to her work with Behavior Change Institute, Kelly was a college instructor and taught both in the classroom and online at the university and community college level. Kelly works alongside Behavior Change Institute's Director of Training to ensure that students are successful in completing their registered behavior technician internship program, and with the care coordination team to ensure students are paired appropriately in the clinical setting. Kelly also works with the CEO of Clinical Operations, Dr. Joy Pollard, to identify students for the ABA internship program, leading to the BCBA certification exam. Lastly, Kelly recruits, hires, and onboards for both administrative and clinical positions at Behavior Change Institute. She works from her home office outside of Spokane, Washington. So without further ado, Kelly, thank you again for joining us today, and I'll turn it over to you.
So much, Erin. What a wonderful introduction. I'm blushing. Thank you all for joining us. I'm so appreciative that you've chosen to attend our Employer Spotlight, and thank you for holding out through that video. I know it was a little laggy there, but we hope that it got you excited about opportunities at Behavior Change Institute. So without further ado, I'm going to take some time today to tell you a little bit more about our agency, the internship opportunities that we have, and the career options. So as you probably already know, Behavior Change Institute is a premier provider of applied behavior analytic or ABA treatment to individuals diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. We work primarily with children between the ages of 2 and 17 that have recently received a diagnosis of autism. We provide most of the services in the home. So traditionally, our behavior technicians and our clinical staff are working in a residential setting. There are occasions where we do go out into the community and work in schools or other community settings. So in this presentation today, I'm going to outline our mission, tell you a little bit about how we got started as an agency. I'll talk about our core values. I'll explain how we source our talent and build our team in each of the areas that we serve. And we'll discuss telebehavioral health services and what that means for us. Well, everything really ultimately starts with this little guy. His name is Jordan, and he is basically the reason that Behavior Change Institute was started. So Jordan was diagnosed with autism at 18 months old, and he lives in a very rural area of New Mexico. At that time, the family was seeking services. There were no services for him within 90 miles. Jordan happens to be our co-founder and CEO of Clinical Operations, Dr. Joy Pollard's nephew. So she is from this area of New Mexico where there are very limited services and families don't have access to ABA therapy. Many of you are coming from a psychology or ABA background, and you've probably taken courses at Kaplan in ABA, but if you're not familiar, it's the only evidence-based treatment for individuals diagnosed with autism. So while Dr. Pollard was in her doctoral work in applied behavior analysis, Jordan was diagnosed with autism, and she knew exactly the type of intervention he needed. The early intervention services, however, were nowhere to be found in her community, her family's community. So it was determined at that time, Joy decided when she finished her program that she would start an agency that could reach out to these families in rural communities where there are no existing services for children diagnosed with autism. So that has become our core mission. The way that we're able to reach families in rural communities is by leveraging technology. So what we've done is taken a traditional telemedicine model. For instance, let's say you go to a clinic, you may see a nurse or a nurse case practitioner, but you may visit with a diagnostic physician or a doctor over a video screen. So we've taken that traditional telemedicine model and twisted it and created a perfect model for applied behavior analysis. The way this works is, for instance, in the state of New Mexico, in areas where there may not be a board certified behavior analyst to supervise in the home, we will train and hire registered behavior technicians to work as therapists one-on-one in the home working with children. Those therapists are often supervised remotely using telehealth. So we have a HIPAA compliant live streaming video platform that we use, and our BCBA clinician can be overseeing the treatment and therapy of the child and supervising and giving live feedback to our behavior technicians in the field from anywhere in the country. So basically, our core mission then is to leverage technology to increase access for families in these rural communities. Another thing that it's allowed us to do, the telehealth model has allowed us to reach out to military families. We provide a lot of services to military families, and the reason that this option is so attractive to them is they can get started with our agency, they can get started with a BCBA clinician, overseeing their child's treatment. And when they get orders to move, which happens also often in military families, we can follow them with services. They can keep the same core clinical team working on the programs with their child. The only thing that we change then is the actual registered behavior technician working in the home and being supervised. So with that being said, we send all of our registered behavior technicians into the field with tablet technology such as an iPad. Our other core mission is not only to build access to services, but organically growing our talent through internship opportunities. And that's what I'm here primarily to discuss with you today. We offer 2 internship opportunities at Behavior Change Institute. The first is the Registered Behavior Technician Internship. And this is our training program that we start all of our behavior technicians off in, and it's the certification board for behavior analysis has put together a 45-hour course that's online that leads to the registered behavior technician certification. We also offer an internship in ABA specifically for individuals such as yourself that are involved in a program such as one that Kaplan University offers online or in the classroom with leading toward the BCABA or the BCBA certification. I realize there's a lot of acronyms in our field, so I'll be careful to try to discuss those with you. Our last mission here is to inspire hope and well-being in those that we serve. So we are committed to excellence, we're committed to bringing the very best talent to our team, and we're committed to providing the best services possible to our families. We inspire hope in the way that a lot of families that live in these rural areas of New Mexico, Texas, and the other areas that we serve in the country often have given up hope for treatment of their child because they live in an area where there aren't any services or they're always moving with the military and it's really difficult to maintain those services. So we are committed to trying to serve every family that we can reach in these areas. You might ask then, where are we? Well, our administrative office is in Oakland, California, but our main core service areas are in Texas and New Mexico. As I stated before, we started in southern New Mexico in a town called Alamogordo, New Mexico. And from there, we've organically grown into areas like Albuquerque and Roswell, El Paso, Texas, and over in Killeen, Texas. Those are our main service areas. Or hubs, you could say, but we do have clients in other locations such as Washington State, California, Michigan, and Florida. And also, we have 2 families now in Hawaii, which is very exciting. Some of us have had the opportunity to travel there, which has been very nice. We dedicate our resources primarily to eliminating the barriers that prevent individuals or families in underserved and rural areas. We're inspiring job creation within these communities by training and hiring registered behavior technicians and other clinical team members to work with families in these rural areas. And we're also contributing to advancements in research in the field of ABA or applied behavior analysis by operating journal groups, journal reading groups, and a lot of our clinical staff are involved in writing grants and publishing. Okay, so I'll briefly outline for you our core values. I think the video that I showed you definitely outlined how we try to create meaningful relationships amongst our employees and with the families and the communities that we serve. We become kind of an integral part of those communities that we serve by outlining and living out these values of compassion, quality, excellence, and integrity. We believe that caring combines compassion as well as an ability to recognize what is needed and then responding appropriately. So, our caring extends beyond the individual. It really encompasses the entire individual's family, our coworkers, and our organization. We're committed to excellence. We're committed to excel also by making every effort to exceed the expectations that the family has already and continuing to provide that standard of care from our patients or for our patients and their families. We're also committed to serving the community. A lot of our behavior technicians have gotten really involved in community events such as Autism Speaks events. We go to autism walks and 5Ks. We often have parades in local or floats in local parades. So we're always trying to reach out and make a real connection with the communities that we serve. Lastly, we realize that honesty and personal responsibility is the essence of every interaction and decision. Integrity is very important. Our philosophy then is that nothing is more important than quality. We're continually striving to improve the telehealth model, to improve the quality of the services that we provide. We provide all of our behavior technicians and clinical staff with ongoing skills clinics and opportunities for professional and personal growth. What are the career opportunities at BCI? So I started by explaining the Registered Behavior Technician internship. This is an opportunity to have a seat in our online training program toward the Registered Behavior Technician certification. It's the board for the Certification Board for Behavior Analysis, or the BACB, approved coursework that we offer our RBT interns. Our Registered Behavior Technician interns go through the online training portion, and then they receive an additional 26 hours of field supervision and feedback. At that point, typically we employ our interns to work with one family. We start all of our registered behavior technicians off in the field with one family while they're receiving their initial supervision and feedback by a board certified behavior analyst. At that time, when they complete the internship, they're hired as a registered behavior technician and they build their course load organically. So we carefully match each registered behavior technician to a family based on their skills, experience, and level of expertise. We also have career opportunities for our clinical team. We hire senior clinicians quarterly. We hire board certified assistant behavior analysts, board certified behavior analysts, and those that have gone on to complete their PhD in psychology, special education, or ABA. We have an internship built specifically for individuals that are pursuing these certifications to join our clinical team. We do twice a year, we open our application process and interview process to individuals interested in the ABA internship. We just had our fall cohort come on board just this past month in September. So again, in 6 months in April, we'll reopen the application process for this internship opportunity. And we'll talk more about the details of that if you're interested. Lastly, I mentioned before that our administrative headquarters is in Oakland, California, and we're always adding to our clinical support team there. So to discuss with you the 45-hour coursework, it's a self-paced online program leading to the Registered Behavior Technician certification. We also hold 3 weekly meetings with skills development trainers. So Liz is wonderful. She's our director of training, and Kari is also wonderful. She's our director of training. They have met with individuals to further develop their skills both in the field and prepare them to sit for the registered behavior technician exam at the end of their internship. Internship position most often leads to a client pairing. And as I mentioned before, this is a very individualized approach. So each registered behavior technician is paired based on their level of skill, expertise, and experience working with children diagnosed with autism. All of our behavior technicians are working either in one of our key service areas, such as New Mexico or Texas, or in a telehealth location. So as I mentioned before, when a family moves, let's say we have a family that we've been providing services to at Fort Hood Military Base in Texas, and they receive orders to move to another state, such as Hawaii or Florida, we will often follow that family with services. So then we would hire a telehealth technician to work in that area as well with that specific family. So our interns are all certified as registered behavior technicians to work independently in either a home, residential, or school setting. When you finish the registered behavior technician coursework at BCI, you're provided with a certificate of completion. This is the Behavior Analysis Certification Board approved coursework, so you will get a BACB approved certification. You have 1 year from the time of the completion of that online course to work with BCI or another agency as a registered behavior technician before that certification expires. As I mentioned before, most of our interns are offered employment at the end of their training period. We do ongoing skills clinic and professional development trainings with all of our behavior technicians. The registered behavior technician formal examination comes at the end of your internship and training period, and this is the actual BACB certified certification as a registered behavior technician. Now we have another internship opportunity for graduate students that are enrolled in programs leading toward the BACB, or the BCBA. This program is geared toward individuals that are enrolled in a higher education program in special education, psychology, or another program that's leading toward this certification exam. So the candidate must be enrolled in a BACB approved course sequence. I know Kaplan offers a wonderful program in ABA. We've actually hired just recently 2 Kaplan students who are both doing absolutely amazing work, and we're so impressed. We'd love to hire more. The purpose of this particular internship program is to facilitate additional learning opportunities outside of the classroom. So you'll be actually, as an intern in ABA, working in the field with individuals diagnosed with autism and meeting with our cohort. So you'll get to know the other interns. There'll be opportunities for research, publication, for gathering information for journals, for writing grants, and you'll be learning a lot of the hands-on work in ABA, but also a lot of the behind-the-scenes work, such as writing programs. The eligibility criteria is that you must be enrolled in that BACB approved course sequence in good standing with the university or with Kaplan. Interns must also be available 5 days a week for at least 2 hours per day to commit to the 12-month internship program. So I wanted to mention as well, and Erin, if you would like to jump in at any point, that there is a distinction between our internship in applied behavior analysis and the one that Kaplan offers. Any student at Kaplan is absolutely welcome to apply for our internship in applied behavior analysis. If you're enrolled in a program, I almost lost it there, of higher education leading toward that BCABA or BCBA certification exam, you're absolutely more than welcome to apply to our internship program in ABA.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up, Kelly. Make that distinction between the opportunity that you can pursue earlier on, prior to those of you that may be electing to take the practicum course that is offered through the university. So that's something to keep in mind as well, being able to explore Behavior Change Institute prior to that. Back to you, Kelly.
Thank you so much, Erin. So some of the things that you may be able to take up and gain experience in for your resume during your work at Behavior Change Institute, and especially in our internship opportunities, are discrete trial training, early intervention, pivotal response training, natural environment training, applied verbal behavior, designing and systematically monitoring skill acquisition and behavior reduction programs, conducting assessments or assisting with assessments, in ABA training and supervision, such as overseeing the implementation of behavior analytic programs. Many of our interns in ABA are also now senior behavior technicians, and that's an additional opportunity to provide feedback and supervision of other interns and behavior technicians in the field. As an intern in applied behavior analysis, you'll be supervised and overseen by our co-founder and CEO of clinical operations, Dr. Joy Pollard. Under her supervision, every intern will be assigned a BCBA supervisor. That clinical supervisor will be responsible for providing the supervision in accordance with the guidelines that are set forth by the Behavior Analysis Certification Board, or the BACB. And formal supervision is a complementary benefit to all interns enrolled in our program. As I mentioned before, the application process just passed us here for fall, but it will reopen in April for spring. It's a fairly competitive process. Many of our behavior technicians are enrolled in programs leading toward these certifications in ABA, and so we do get quite a few applicants. The process, though, is an application. We do a reference check when you're hired. We also continue to investigate your, work relationships, and we ask that you come to a group interview for this internship also. Okay. What are we really doing out there then? Well, it started with Jordan, the first little guy that I mentioned at the beginning of these slides. And what we're really doing is increasing access to families in these rural areas, just like Jordan's family. We're trying to provide access to ABA services in areas that were otherwise applied behavior analysis deserts, really. And we're also serving military families by providing that continuity of care after they've transitioned to a new location via telehealth. My most important goal here, I guess my favorite thing to do at BCI, is finding amazing talent. I love hiring students that are passionate about what they're doing, that love working with children, that really want to make a difference in families affected by autism. So finding those amazing and talented individuals is really our main goal, so that we can provide the best possible therapy and the best possible services to the families that we currently serve, and that we can continue to grow. We've been growing quite rapidly. We're a newer agency, but we have really set our sights on growth. And as that video that I showed, that Erin played for us at the beginning, showed that our 3-year goals here are really to become internationally known and to serve the entire country with ABA. We're also organically growing professionals in the field of ABA nationwide through our internship opportunities. So I really hope that the next step that you'll take will be to visit our website at behaviorchangeinstitute.com. You can click About and join our team from the website to view all of the positions that are open that we're currently hiring for. We have positions open nationwide in various locations via telehealth or in our main service hubs. We hope that you will apply directly through our website, attach a resume or CV with your online application, and obviously you can reach out to me absolutely with any questions here in this presentation, and I'll also include my my contact information at the end for you to contact me with additional questions after this presentation. We have an RBT, the Registered Behavior Technician Internship application is now open, and we are taking fall interns in all of the locations we serve. We are doing the online training with all of our interns, leading toward that certification and employment with BCI or another agency. Our ABA internship application will open back up in April. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, I hope that you will contact me. This is my email, kweingart@behaviorchangeinstitute.com. Thank you so much for attending, and I'm hoping that now I can field any questions that you may have for me.
Thank you so much, Kelly. What an informative session. I know our students will have gained a lot from that. I know I have as well. We did have a couple questions come in for you. For the ABA internship or RBT internship, where do students need to be located? Although you provide the telehealth services, do they need to be physically located in one of the cities where you already have standing clients that you work with?
That is a fantastic question. I'm so glad that you asked. Thank you. Yeah, so in addition to the online training, all of our registered behavior technicians are also receiving direct supervision in the field working with a client. So, yes, all of our interns are located in areas where we provide services to at least one family. At this point, we're taking interns in Honolulu, throughout New Mexico and Texas, in Gainesville, Florida, in Wichita Falls, Texas, and in I'm going to forget the name of the town now, outside of Detroit, Michigan. So those are the locations where we currently have families and where there will be the opportunity for individuals to join our internship.
Excellent. And the RBT is ongoing and the ABA is biannual, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So we are always bringing new registered behavior technician interns into our training program year round. So that is an ongoing process. The ABA internship application is twice a year, once in fall and once in spring.
Fantastic. Any news on the horizon that you're able to share with us with regards to where you may be organically growing into next? If not, that's okay.
Yes, no, absolutely. So we do have clients coming on board in the Austin area and potentially also in the Dallas area. So if you're located in Austin, Texas, or Dallas, we have our sights on those areas for immediate growth. And then also, as I mentioned, organically, we're always growing because of our relationship with the U.S. military. We work primarily with the insurance provider that's provided by the U.S. military. And so knowing that we're working with military families, in the next 3 years, we expect growth in any area where there is an Army or Air Force installation. So that being said, I hope that you'll continue to check our jobs board on our website, because we list all of the areas that we're currently hiring in there.
And as a reminder as well, students and alumni, you can also send your resume over to your career specialist, and we're happy to get it directly to Kelly as well. We did have another question come in. For those that may not have any experience in ABA, is the RBT something that they can still explore if they're on the ABA track?
Absolutely, yeah. The main qualifications that we're looking for a registered behavior technician intern are that they have experience working with children, and specifically, we prefer if an individual has had experience working with individuals that have special needs. We also look for a course completion. For I believe our funding sources require at least 12 completed college credits in a field leading toward a field career in ABA. So if you've completed 12 college credits at Kaplan or another school in psychology, social work, special education, or a related field such as occupational therapy, speech therapy, anything that really deals with individuals that have special needs, we prefer to hire those types of individuals. So if you don't have any coursework completed yet in ABA or you don't have experience doing ABA, that's absolutely not a problem.
Excellent. Thank you. Students, keep the questions coming. Feel free to put them in the Q&A pod. If you have any other questions, I think we've been able to get to all of them at the moment. Um, Is there any other attributes? I know integrity you spoke of, your key organization attributes, I'm sure, is what you also look for in your applicants. Can you tell us a little bit about the interview process? Once you receive the resume, how many interviews they may expect and kind of what that onboarding process may look like, aside from some of the trainings that you've already mentioned?
Absolutely, Erin. So, when an individual submits their resume through the website, their resume is reviewed by our hiring team and it's determined if they have the minimum qualifications for the position. As I mentioned, these are 12 completed college credits in a career, a track toward ABA, such as psychology or social work, experience working with children one on one, supervising children, or working with children in a school or daycare setting is preferred. And then additional requirements such as a strong work history. Providing references is always a fantastic thing on your resume. Having those references listed for us to reach out, and basically having completed some type of work in the past working with children. So once your resume is selected by our hiring team for an interview, you'll be contacted by email. I usually reach out with an email within a few days of someone submitting an application, and then request a phone interview. So the first interview that you'll have with Behavior Change Institute for any position that we're hiring for is always over the phone with a member of our hiring team. So that phone interview typically is about 30 to 40 minutes, and we reach out to gauge your interest in the position that you're applying for and your level of professional competency over the phone. After that point, if you're selected from the phone interview to go on to a live interview, you'll either be met in person or over telehealth. So often we'll do interviews as group interviews for individuals applying for an internship or for a career opportunity, and we'll perform a live group interview with all of the applicants over our HIPAA compliant video streaming platform. So it's actually a video interview. You can do it from anywhere really that you have an internet connection. There are times for our higher level administrative positions that we do live in-person interviews, but for the most part, our behavior technicians are interviewed remotely. From that process, we select our final candidates and reach out to them for a final one-on-one interview. That final one-on-one interview will really solidify the individual that we have decided to make an offer to. I hope that answers your question. I rambled
Yep.
on there.
No, no, that was perfect. Thank you. And it doesn't look like we have any other questions. So I want to again thank you so much for your time today, Kelly. Such a great session, so informative. And we'll be sharing it with our students and alumni that weren't maybe able to join us live today. But students and alumni, thank you so much for joining us. And we certainly hope that you explore Behavior Change Institute as an employer of choice. Thank you.